bring our minds closer home that this is how our teens look like in the 21st century. So next slide. So the talk is about family enrichment. And I'll just start by defining what a family is. Being a Christian setup, we can say family is made up of mother, father, and children, or mother, children, father, children. And this is how God intended it to be. So the children could be biological, they could be fostered children. We are all parents in one way or another. So parents, the family setup is this one, and this is what will be the center of our discussion tonight. I further went to check on what enrichment is, because we are saying it is an enrichment. We are enriching our families tonight. And just to pick the word enrichment, what is the definition of the word enrichment in the dictionary is enhancing the quality and value of something. So just to bring it in this context of tonight, it is we are talking about our teenagers. So we are saying that we want to raise responsible and quality citizens, as Benedict prayed in the opening prayer, that we are journeying together to bring out responsible citizens, independent citizens, and this is where it starts. So it means that if you are going to get quality citizens and responsible citizens, it also goes back to how we are raising these children. And teenage being the gap between childhood and adulthood, it's a very critical stage. So we are also saying that to enrich a family or to be able to raise these teenagers, we have to be very intentional parents. And we are saying intentional parents listen first and speak last. Also, just to throw in a verse from the Bible, from Psalms 127, it says that children are a heritage from the Lord, an offspring and a reward from him. So based on this, these children and the stages they are at, they are a reward from him, and we are stewards. When you get a gift from somebody, how do you treat that gift? Because these are gifts. The teenagers are a gift from God. They are gifts from above, and we are going to just discuss how we are treating these gifts from God and how we are journeying with them. Next slide, please. So where does a family get enriched? A family gets enriched at the home. The home is where we all stay. This is where we are all together with our teenagers and our families. And this is where the enrichment occurs. As I've said, enrichment is enhancing something to make it good. So we're asking ourselves tonight, at this home we are staying with our children. How are we enriching this home that we are together, living together, cohabiting together as mother, father, children, or mother, children, whichever the case. So we're asking ourselves a few questions tonight. A safe space. Are our homes a safe space where a teenager feels that when they express themselves to their parents, they will not be judged? Are our homes a go-to? Do our teenagers have a support system where if they're worried or they're anxious or they're troubled, they will first go to our home where we find the parents who are journeying with them, who are nurturing them? Or do they first go to the internet? Have we created that environment whereby our children feel that I can go to my mom, I can go to my dad, I can go to my auntie to share something that I have or that is troubling me in school? Do we have a structure maybe that we have at home that in case you're feeling lost or you're feeling worried, Have we discussed this with our children? That in case you have a problem, go to your auntie or talk to your mom. Are they free to say these things in their home? Or have individualism taken place, in the world we are living in? Do we verbalize love for them when there's no reason to? Just when you're at home, because sometimes as parents, as human beings, we forget to give that assurance of parents. We are busy, we are working, we are trying to bring food on the table, and some of these little things may pass us. And is our love conditional or unconditional? Unconditional love is whereby despite the grades, despite the behaviors, you still love them. Just like Christ has loved us. In our sinfulness, in our waywardness, the Lord still assures us of his love. Are we able to do this to our teenagers? When they are grumpy and they are not talking to us, are we able to still love them and be patient with them? Next slide, please. Is our home a place where we can say it is an emotional safety for our teenagers? Sometimes teenagers feel that they are not understood. They are mostly misunderstood. And are they understood at home? They can be misunderstood outside, but are they understood at home for this family to be enriched? Adolescence can be very challenging and being a transitional period, it can be very challenging. Therefore, a home to be, if your home is an emotional safety for these teenagers, you will certainly be able to hold them and walk with them side by side and not commanding and giving ultimatums as you journey with them. So we are saying that we be supportive about what our children are saying in school. Sometimes a child can come and tell you, Mom, I don't like the school. And sometimes we don't listen. We say, you're in a national school, or this is a very good school. Why don't you like the school? Like we don't get to the roots of every word they are saying. Sometimes we are quick to judge and to say that if you don't want to go to school, then it is up to you to decide. Sometimes it's just good that we say that an intentional parent listens more and speaks less. So we also need to refrain from criticizing or making fun about their worries. Sometimes a child will tell you that I am fearing this class or I am fearing this exam. And instead of maybe empathizing, you'll say, just nobody, sometimes you don't realize, you'll say, many people have done exams. Why are you fearing? You've been in school all these years. There lies the problem. They feel criticized. They feel not supported. They feel that you're not seeing their worry because it doesn't look big to you as a parent. So we are saying, let's assure them that you're listening and giving them some attention. As I said earlier, we are busy parents. We are working. We have this every 8 to 5 job or business. Let's give them some time just to listen in the evening when you get home. Just have a few minutes, and bit by bit, it will build up to beautiful memories and a beautiful journey. A home should be a space to breathe. Sometimes when teenagers are home and mothers are home or parents, you feel like they're wasting time around the house. Maybe they just want to just sit, just like even some of us in our lives, we just want to sit and relax. Maybe you've had a really hectic week and you just want to sit down and do nothing. Not the whole day, but just some time. So do we allow them to breathe? Do we allow them to just daydream or listen to music? Or you will say that music is too loud? This is the space they are at. They're trying to find themselves and they're trying to try out things. Let's support and journey with them and not to judge that why are you listening to this music? Probably sitting them down to tell them about which music to listen would be more helpful than saying, switch off and I don't want to hear that again. Sometimes we tend, especially parents, when children are in boarding and they are back home, we really overschedule. You know, maybe we call it autopilot parenting. You have gone to work and you leave so many things. Do this, do that. By the time I come in the evening, I want all these dishes done. I want all the homework done. Let's resist to overschedule, especially that holiday time. They've come back from school. Let's try and understand and hear them out. What has been happening in the 3 months in school? Another point for family enrichment, when teenagers feel emotionally attached to their parents, they develop a strength that lasts in a lifetime. Just as I said earlier, that when you work with your children, just those little things of assurance that if you're worried about something, if you're feeling sad, let's pray about it, let's talk about this. They will have that strength that will last a lifetime. I'm sure all of us, at some point of your life, things that happen to you when you're a teenager, you never forget them because it's a very critical time of transition. And you'll always hear someone saying, hey, when I was in class 8, this happened to me. Or my auntie said this, or my mother said this. So it's a critical transitional journey for the teenagers. And working with them side by side and not criticizing and not judging and not saying, why can't you be so-and-so, so-and-so's child, will really enrich and strengthen them. Next slide, please. So we have talked about the home and how we need to have a home which is a safe space, a home that they look forward to go to. So this slide, I really want us to engage, and you can put on your comments on the chat box about common teenage struggles. These are struggles I'm sure we've heard of, we've experienced, and I want us to just engage and we can share which of these have you experienced with your children. So I'll just read through. Teenagehood is a stage where major changes in their brain develop, and they're not able to handle complexities that come with this stage in life. So because we are their parents and our brain has developed and we are able to make good choices, we need to journey with them even in decision making. So we are talking about technology, social media, cyber abuse. We are talking about bullying in schools and social spaces. We are talking about obesity. This is big. Their looks, appearances is of prime importance. And I'm sure most of us who have teens or whose children are in this stage, you realize they're very conscious now of how they look, how they dress. They want certain things that maybe you as a parent, you feel, no, this is not decent. You can't wear this. There's also depression that comes along. We are hearing of many separations, many divorces, many co-parenting happening even in the church and around our communities. How is that affecting your teen? Do we remember that our separation may bring our teens down, or do we just go ahead and make decisions and then think about it later? So poor performance. We require support and love, especially here, because sometimes we focus a lot on the grades, and we forget that our children are enabled differently. There's peer pressure. Their friends are saying, let's do this, let's do a party here, let's go to Mombasa, let's go to this place, this hotel that I know. Are we talking about this with them? We also have, they have a lot of exposure to sexual encounters from their friends, from the internet. And then we also have drug and substance abuse. So there's a little picture there about the teen and what is running in their mind. I'd just like to just pause a little there and open it up. Edna, you can unmute the people who would want to share your experiences. Which of these common teenage problems have we experienced with our children, and how did we handle?
Yeah, we can just unmute ourselves and share. Maybe I can go first. Yeah, or you can also put it in on the chat. Personally, I've experienced the bullying, and nowadays we speak of bullying even for CBC children. They are threatened by their fellow children, as in friends, and they also threaten our children. Are also threatening other people, and I've also experienced it with one of our high school children who really had to go through a lot in Form 1 and Form 2. And at Form 3, we even considered now changing the school because there were issues of indiscipline and, drug abuse. These things, I'm told they look like pens, but our children actually use them to smoke whatever drugs they smoke there. So she happened to see some friends hiding in class and doing that, and she raised the alarm, and that became a big deal because it's like now this clique of people turned against her and would threaten her even in the dormitories, and it was really not easy for her. But thank God things changed in Form 3, and it's been much better. They had to also expel and suspend some of the students. So yeah, I hear you when you talk about bullying because I've been able to experience it as a parent. Yeah, thank you. So if you experience whatever those other issues, I think it's good that you also just share your experience. Just unmute yourself and share. Thank you.
Can I share my side?
Yes.
Yes, Emma, thanks so much for the content so far. We are enjoying the session. I'm struggling with the looks and dressing, but more so on looks, where you're supposed to be preparing to leave and go somewhere, and the person is taking forever in the mirror, or you're just basically preparing to go to church, and you knew you're supposed to be in church on a certain specific time. But here you are, you keep calling someone to come out of the house and they're still looking at themselves in the mirror, or they have changed clothes 3 or 4 times. I don't know how yet to come out of it, but it's a journey in progress. As you said, I'm still listening and hoping I'll have an answer.
Thank you, Benedict, for that. And as a father, I can say that's something you have observed. Maybe you can ask them to wake up a little more early, but just let them look at themselves in that mirror. Let them wake up early. Maybe just have that discussion, wake up early, and they can decide. It's such a big deal. And sometimes we don't understand. We are like, why are you changing clothes? It's a journey, as I said. You keep talking about it. It calls for a lot of patience, and patience is a virtue. Thank you, Edna, also for that sharing about bullying. Yes, bullying is real. And that's why I was saying in the earlier slide that let's listen to our children. When they tell you, I don't like this school, don't dismiss it and say, oh, it's a national school. Do you know how many children would like to be in that school? Because we are quick to say that. So thank you, and I welcome more sharing.
Someone else would like to share?
Good evening, Emma, and congratulations for taking this discussion online because it helps participation even as far as some of us are. I'm joining you from UK, and I got this from Ender, Sakwa, and I jumped in at the 11th hour.
Thank you, Margaret. Thank you.
In fact, I'm with your friend Owen, so he's somewhere.
Okay.
Because I'm bringing him to school.
Okay.
But the reason is, I think for me, I can say in my 3 years of parenting, my first son is 3. When I look at that list, I have experienced all and more. I think I've experienced all the list that it is from different the children, and for the purpose of the others in the hall. My first one is 3, the other one is 27, and now I have a 18-year-old who is joining university next week. And I've experienced so both locally and also internationally, because all of them have gone in the universities abroad. However, probably what I can say is the new dynamics of the 21st century, of what Emma called the teens in the 21st century. And more so, what is not in the world is our children are struggling on how to live beyond, how to live away from your sandal as a parent. They are teens. We are not giving them that space because we are parents, and we are African parents. I'm one of those. I'm one of those who they call CSI. I'm sure they can't do anything and they don't notice. The first day someone tries, and because they are teens, they'll try this, they'll try smoking, I will notice. They'll try and drink now that they're 18 plus, and they have to try what other teenagers are trying, or they are being peer pressured too. I will notice. And so they call me CSI as a mother. And now what I'm struggling with myself is what if I can borrow from my last born son. And I think I told Emma at some point this. He said, Mom, get yourself a life.
Yes, I've
Make
journeyed with Owen.
Make yourself a priority.
Yes.
You can't be our priority. You can't be a priority of everybody. So I think what we are struggling, and what I'm saying here is much more is, what is it that we let go, Emma? To what limit do we understand that they are just being teenagers? Where do you draw the line of the experience? These days they call it like, let me experience and let me learn my lessons from experience, whatever that experience is. And the fear of a parent, of them trying the experience and falling into the deep world of drugs, this LGBT thing. We are the ones who have the biggest problem. When a child is conscious that they are doing the right thing, yet we have the fear that they are not. So me, I have that problem. I don't trust that you're doing the right thing, and it's the 21st century, and as we come from the old African way of doing things. So I think probably that's a bigger topic of another day, or I don't know what time you have to tell us all to let go.
Yes.
But the only thing I've learned is 2 things. 1, trust your instinct, because they'll lead you to exactly what's happening. 2, stay close. They call me the hugging mother. I hug all their friends, and out of 5, I hug all of them as they come in. And then I tell, after they leave, I say, number 3 is a smoker. So I say, oh, Mom, you don't thank them because you don't have the best, because I'm sleeping. I don't have the So where do I stop, Emma? But
Okay.
I've learned trust your instinct, Be close that they can tell you when they're in trouble. And be close, they can be honest and say, hey, mom, I was given something to drink by a friend, but it tasted not the normal soda, so that you are able to know even when they are being introduced to any substance. But most important is pray, pray, pray over your children every day. That the Lord guides them, the Lord protects them, the blood of Jesus covers them. And at the 11th hour, when they are about to do something wrong, there's always a realization, and the word of God just lifts them away. Thank you. I'm sorry for taking so long.
Thank you, Margaret. Thank you, Margaret, for that sharing. I actually have journeyed with Owen, and congratulations to him in joining university. Yes, Margaret, you have brought a very interesting question there about where we African mothers, and that's what I was saying earlier. We African mothers, there's a way we were raised, and here we are in the 21st century, and we want to raise our children the same way. But what I would say from the encounters and the many years of just talking to them and hearing them out, we may not succeed very much raising them how we were raised. Because we know our parents would say, when they look at you like this, you know what you're supposed to do. When your mom says wacha, you know what you're supposed to do. But I think our generation right now is a bit different, whereby the world has changed. And probably to just add that, you can just blend the African mother, just being close to them, and being patient with them. Like Benedict said, that the girls will be on the mirror the whole time. You can just have a sit down and discuss and say, it's not good to get late for mass. Can we wake up a little earlier and you have all the time to dress and do all this makeup that you want? And it's also about a matter of balance. As a mother, we need to balance, and we need to trust our children. Sometimes just trust them. If they're telling you they are studying, test them by trusting. And when they say they are studying, the results will come and you will see. So you can sit down and say the results are not matching with the studies that you're making. So where can I help? Can we do a timetable? It is just building that relationship and just trying to control yourself by trusting. Sometimes you're not able to trust our children, and that brings a big barrier, because they say, even if I tell my mom, she will not believe me. Sometimes let's just give them the benefit of doubt that they can actually do something, or they can visit a friend and come back at a certain time. And also just creating those boundaries and saying, for example, I can give an example of a birthday. A child has told you they want to go to a friend's place. So you agree. Of course, the parent is responsible, is an intentional parent, so they know the other family. So you agree and say, I want you to be home by 6 o'clock. And it's a deal, and you shake hands. So if this child comes at 6 o'clock, then it means she has kept her promise, his or her promise. Also, we as parents, when we tell our children that I will do this or I'll buy for you this, let's keep our promise. Building that trust will help your child to know that I have a parent who can listen to me. But it has to be very intentional. Tell yourself, I don't want to raise my children the way I was raised, because this is a different scenario altogether. And that way we'll be able to journey smoothly. Also, Mary has said something about prayer. We are stewards of these children. The Lord has given us gifts, but we are stewards. Also release them to the Lord. Just say, Lord, give me the grace to journey with my teenager. This is happening. Lord, help me. Lord, hold them. Praying of our children also helps a lot, because as we said, you can really get difficulties when you're trying to understand and getting them, getting to their space. Also, another thing that you can add in terms of not overdoing it or overprotecting is doing things together, making time. You can have a walk one evening or every Saturday you do a walk together, and that way they will feel your presence. The power of presence also helps them relax a bit and help them feel that you love them despite their grades and what is happening around them. Thank you. Maybe we can go back to the slides, or if there's one more sharing, we can take that. Maggie, I hope I've answered you.
Oh, Emma, you have, but let me throw a spanner in the works on one area. And especially as parents, and I know Singaporeans, we are what you call, we are career people. Majority of us, we are successful in many fronts, either in business, in what we do in our offices. I must say that our children are not always blessed in the same way. And so there's a new and growing concern where children, when they get to teenage and when they are little, they are these mummies, daddies, adorable children. But as they get to high school, you start putting them pressure on career. And as they get them to teenage, they start falling fear of failing you, fear of not becoming what daddy wanted me to be, fear of not doing good because I'm not passing A grades in school, fear of not being as mother or father is because they are seeing you in TV all the time, or they are seeing you being the secretary you are. So it's drowning on them and depressing on them who they want to be under the pressure of who their successful parents are, given their abilities or special circumstances that they are blessed differently. So I believe as part in the words I'm throwing to you to also help us recognize that the children are not necessarily what we want. We pray to God to grant them the favor of their talent, and we nurture that talent, however different it is.
All right. Thank you. I will come to that about helping them choose. I think is a matter of freedom, allowing them to explore and giving them that opportunity. And there are also career tests that can be done on that area. But I'll touch that at the end of the session. I'll touch a bit on that, on how we push them to do maybe courses that we had hoped to do, but now we didn't do them, and now we want to achieve those goals to our children. Yes, there's a lot of that in our African setup. Or sometimes when you have an A student, you tell them these are grades for a doctor, and probably that's not their line. It's just listening more and finding out why they want to do this course and not the other. So the next slide talks about the tremendous change at teenage. And I've given just a bit of a photo there of how our teenagers look like. They'll have a big afro. Again, this goes back to the looks. They want to identify themselves with a big afro. They want long hair. They want twisted hair for the girls. And a lot of parents are not comfortable. I would say let's just let them be. If they're in a school that can allow that, it's okay. If it's during the holidays, the girls can do those braids. It is just a season. It is just a season that will pass, and you will be surprised at what they have become. So we are saying the teenagers go through 4 major changes, which are physical, mental, personal, and social. The changes on the physical, we are talking about menstruation, breasts, hips, breaking of voice, pimples, weight gain. They're suddenly very tall. We are seeing all this growing in them. So sometimes we mistake and feel like they are now adults or they are now big enough because of the body. But emotionally, they are still very tender. So those physical changes should not distract us to see that we now have a big girl, so they should know what they're supposed to do. The journey should start right there. So dialogue and support is required so that they are able to navigate the features and the emotions that the teenagers are going through. They go through many emotions, especially both boys and girls. When menstruation starts, we know there are things that you feel, and sometimes they will not just want to talk to you. And as mothers, what do we say? Why are you being rude? Why are you not talking? And it is something inside of them that is going on, and they are not able to verbalize it. So let's not be blinded by the changes that they've grown taller. Emotionally, they're still very tender, and this is the most critical part that you need to hold their hand. The mental changes. Teens think and process more conceptual than children. As someone highlighted, Maggie, you said when they're small children, they are very adorable and they'll do everything you want. But suddenly your teenage, you send them and they ask you why. Can we go to church? Why? They are suddenly very inquisitive and very, they want to get answers. In most cases, we parents get annoyed. And you're wondering, why is this teenager asking me this maybe you would call them crazy questions or rhetoric ones. The teenage brain is developing and they're trying to express themselves. They need your brain as an adult to guide and support them in this process of change and making better choices. So when they ask you, why do we go to church?
Emma, you're muted.
Oh, I've been muted. Sorry, all this time. Okay, sorry.
No, just less than a minute.
Oh, less than a minute. Okay. So we are talking about the mental changes.
Yes,
they are tall,
that's
they are
right.
big. Yes, they are tall, they are big. They have gained weight, but they are still very tender in terms of their brain development. So it is us as parents to guide and support in the process of making better choices. I remember one Father Hunja used to say in his homilies, for those who don't know Father Hunja, he used to be our parish priest, assistant priest for 13 years. And he was very passionate about the youth. And he would always say, you'd rather have a youth in church who may not be participating with long hair and long braids, but he's in church and not elsewhere. So this is what I would encourage you. Let's encourage them to go to church, even if they don't want to go to church or they don't want to participate, at least they're coming along with you to church. So help them make those choices as the brain is developing. So we also talk about personal changes. They go through complex and emotional personal changes. They are wrestling with many conflicts. They are becoming, and this helps them to become emotionally mature. An example is when a teenager is actually independent and dependent on you at the same time. Adolescents will have no rules, but they need to know their parents are on their side. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have rules, but they will be happy without rules. But once you have set rules and boundaries, then they are able, and assuring them that this is what will lay your foundation for your future, then they are able to know that this is what we do at home. But however, even if I break this rule, my parent is still on my side. So let's have those guidelines. Sometimes we don't guide our children. For example, I was talking about a birthday. We allow them, but we don't say, by this time I'll pick you, or by this time you must come home. And when they come home late, we make noise at them. Let's have that guidance. Those little things will also help them know that mom has allowed me to go, but I need to be out of here by 6. And that way, the journey will be easier. So we also have questions and beliefs of your family and challenges. The teens begin to think more the why and the beliefs that why do we do this? Why are we Catholics and not any other? So it's not a rhetorical question. Just sit down with them and explain to them that there are many churches, and this is the church we have chosen as a family, and this is why the Catholic faith is like this. And they're able to understand, because sometimes when these questions come up, parents mostly will get upset and not want to answer. Why are you asking? We've always gone to church. So let's be very patient and listen more. Next slide, please, Edna. Yes. The earlier one, please. Yes. The earlier one. Before this one. The one right up before this. Yeah, there. So teens also feel intense and extreme emotions. There's something called the feel-good syndrome, which strong emotions are important to teens, and it also affects their judgment. The feel-good syndrome is when they want to listen to music, they want to do extreme games, they want to do skating. I remember I had a case of skating that a parent really fought with the daughter. She used to skate a lot, and she actually broke her ankle, or she was hurt when she was doing skating. Every child has their feel-good syndrome, and for this particular girl, it was skating. Skating would make her feel very good and very happy. It is still a stage. When you find they're obsessed with a certain game or a certain practice, support them. Skating is an exercise, or swimming, or music. Allow them to do this, but help them to control, not extreme, but just a certain balance. It's a feel-good syndrome, which is in teenage, and it will pass. So teens are invested in today than tomorrow. A teen will not think about tomorrow the way you say, there is a tomorrow. And that's why we are saying their brains have not developed to think the way a parent would think, that I need to keep this for tomorrow. Today, it is in that spur of the moment. And that is why when it's their birthday, for example, if today is a teenager's birthday and you want to postpone, they don't understand. They're like, but my birthday is today. So it is that syndrome of today, I want it now. So again, this calls for a lot of patience, and just understand that that's how their mind is. That's where they are at, and that's what they are seeing. And we are saying it's very difficult for them to postpone a gratification. So let's remember that, and we'll be able to guide them accordingly. There's also the social changes. The center of an adolescent shifts from family to his peer groups, and his or her friends become main focus and interest. They will spend more time on the phone and instant messaging them. So we are saying this shift can also have difficulty in parents, where parents feel unloved and unappreciated. So we had said earlier there that we be their friends, but it will reach a time a teenage will not want to be with you. They want to spend time with their friends. It's not that they don't love you. It is a stage whereby they want to explore, they want to make friends, they want to see the outside world. As parents, we are being called to be patient on that area, and this will actually help them connect. There's something also Maggie said, that we are not letting go of our children, and this is where it starts. It is very critical to allow them to have those friends, to allow them to talk to those social groups, and you can check later who are these that they are relating with, but don't deny them that. There's somewhere in the Bible that it says about living and cleaving, that a man shall leave their home and go. But how do you prepare that man or woman, or that young man or woman, to leave and go and start their own family? It starts from this teenage, that you're allowing them to be with their friends. don't feel unappreciated. Now you're not getting a lot of attention like you used to get when they are smaller. Smaller kids, 7 and below, they are all over mom. And when mom comes home, they want to hug, they want to help. But now at teenage, they don't even want to get things from your hands. It is a stage. They are being prepared for adulthood. And if they skip that stage, it is where now when they're out there, you're still their shadow. So let's try and balance that. It's critical so that our children, we are not a shadow to them. They become independent along the way. It is a journey. And lastly on that, teens who do not take the shift from family to friends often have difficulty at jobs, dating, and friendships when they leave home. They are still tied into the home environment and don't have the tools to function outside of it. So we are saying, let's help our children to socialize, to make friends, and also we can guide them on what friends they should make. And at this point, I'd also want to comment, sometimes you can hear at the workplace or even in social circles, watoto wa siku hizi. But maybe I can add there and say, I think ni wazazi wa siku hizi. So tuko pamoja hapo, we try, we are the ones molding them. We are the ones shunning these children from our homes. So let's look at that as we go along. Next slide, Edna. So in conclusion, as a teen parent, you cannot plan for every situation that will come up when you're not ready, but you must do something to help your teenager. So just a little tips on what to do, then I open it up for your input. We said it will be interactive, and so that we are sharing, we are asking, and that will help us know more and learn more. So when in doubt, try to connect with your teen. Don't argue, keep reasoning, or start threatening. Just stop and try and make a connection. This can solve a multitude of crises. When you try to make a connection during that argument, I think your child feels that they can trust you, or you can postpone it and say, can I give you an hour and we talk about this later? So let's not threaten our children, or let's not say things like, do you know how much school fees I'm paying and you're misbehaving in school? Those things really hurt them bad. So another critical one, this I know it's being faced and it's a reality. When in financial crisis as a family, let's not drown ourselves in loans trying to meet the demands of your teens, probably because of your absence. You try and buy gifts, you try and go places, and maybe the financials are not okay at that point. Just discuss tactfully. These children are very understanding. You'll be so amazed that just a little word of honesty and forthrightness can actually bring so much peace and harmony in the family. For example, you could be going for a holiday every year, and maybe this year or last year, you're not able to. Just sit them down and say, sometimes life has valleys and life has mountains. And you just assure them that for right now, we may not be able to go for a holiday. We can only go maybe to a certain place for a day or just a lunch. And once things settle down, we shall do the holiday, or we shall do the things that we normally do. I think COVID taught us, and a lot of us were not able to engage the children on that level, that at the moment we need to save more and spend less because of this situation. The children actually understand. They may not respond, but they will remember. But also keep your word that once that season is over, you will remember that you had promised something. Also, remember that your teen is probably miserable too. Never forget, while the current problem must be dealt with, you also want to use that circumstance to guide your teen into being equipped and prepare for the adult life. When you share these things at this stage, it's actually something they'll carry along in their life, that when I am not able to do something, I don't have to pretend. If the resources are not there, then you're able to tell your family, because even then you're molding them to be future families. So at this stage, when you discuss, it will build up also to their families in future. So we're also saying that successful parents are not the ones who never struggled. They are the ones who never gave up despite the struggles. So the struggle is real. It's not easy to have teenagers around you, but let's not give up. Let's keep engaging, keep talking. Even if they're not responding, they are actually hearing you. So next slide. We are just winding up on this. We also have something that many of us are not able to say. So let's normalize the word no. Don't avoid saying no. When it is best for the teen, he or she will hear this on a regular, and they'll accept it as part of life. And no should not cause a person to have a fit or get depressed. Help your teen to get used to the reality. We parents, sometimes you're not able to say no, and that we instill in our children, so that even when they grow up and they're told no, they can't take it. So let's have that practice of saying no, this is not allowed, and you explain why it is not allowed. Sometimes we say no and you're not giving the why, you're not guiding. So the next one I know is a tricky one, tolerating your teen's anger, unless you're being mistreated. Unless your child is mistreating you, just tolerate that mood swing and anger, but give a comforting and empathizing statement. Clarify whether you've done something wrong, but as much as possible, connect with your teen when they are mad at you. I know mothers and also fathers, sometimes you can do something. I'm a victim. Sometimes I can shout at my children, and my own children would tell me, Mom, if you tell me slowly, I will listen. You don't have to shout. So when they tell you that, sometimes we feel like they're being rude. They're just expressing themselves. And I will say sorry. And I say, sorry, I shouted, but it is also because of your behavior. When we teach them that we can tell them sorry, that is also where they learn. They will grow knowing that if you annoy someone, you can actually tell them sorry. And my mother or my father says sorry to me when they are wrong. So go freedom and responsibility, not a control freak. Stop trying to make your teen better grades, respect, responsibility. Instead, think of ways that can be free to choose and experience. This again is a repeat, I think, of what Margaret brought up when you're saying that you want to control them. Let's not over control, because mothers, again, we are the ones who nurture and are very close to the children. A control freak does not allow growth. Even you, when you're over micromanaged at work, you will not work. So let's balance a bit. Control, yes, but not control freak, whereby even if they're telling you they're showering, you have to go to the bathroom and listen if they're showering. So that balance is tough, but I know it is doable. Let's be soft on preferences and style, and hard on disrespect and selfishness. Preferences and style is the dressing that we said. If they want to wear the ripped jeans, if they want to wear the baggy shirts, that is okay, it is fashion. But be hard on disrespect and selfishness. Teach them that disrespect is wrong and selfishness, and it starts at home. Respecting their siblings, respecting you as the mother, respecting the workers at home. And when they're guided like that, they will see the sense that, oh, I'm allowed to dress like this, but I must respect my seniors. So with that, we are coming to the conclusion. Next slide, Edna. So we are seeing the changes again. This is how they look. And Benedict, you can see the mirror there. The girls are squeezing the pimples, and the boy there is looking at himself. So let's provide the necessary grooming. If you need to buy, mothers, if you need to buy stuff for the face, help them groom themselves. I'm not saying we overdo, but try and do what you can with your girl and your boy. Next slide. So parenting can wear out our emotions and physical strength. We can turn to the Lord in the Bible. So there's Isaiah 40:31. When you feel that your energy has gone, just read this verse and say, Lord, renew my strength like the eagle. And when we trust in the Lord, we shall not be weary. The word of God is very strong, and as Christians, that's where you just say, Lord, take the wheel. And there's a prayer there. We are saying, Lord, I pray for renewed strength as you have promised in your word, as I raise these teenagers for your kingdom. There's also Proverbs 22 that says, train up a child in the way they should go. Even when they are old, they will never depart from it. All these things that you're doing is a very good foundation. Children never forget. Sometimes you feel like they're not listening, but as they go along, they will never depart. Of course, backed up with your prayer, they will always remember what their parents did and insisted on. Thank you very much. So I open it up with a few questions which we can engage in the next slide. Asanteni.
Thank you very much, Emma. Maybe I can start with a question, then as the other people also join in. You've mentioned that we should be soft when it comes to preferences and style, and hard when it comes to selfishness and disrespect. Now, today you realize that if you go to even the university, you'll find, I think, over 80% of the girls you'll find there, they are wearing, I always say it's a top that looks like a bra, and they keep correcting me. It has a name. Yeah, that top that looks like a bra. Yeah, so that is fashion. And for my younger kids, because in the estate they see these girls who are wearing, those very short, very, very short shorts. Yeah, like all the thigh is exposed. And they also feel like this is how we should dress. Yes, it is fashion because that is what even other parents are dressing their children. I don't know what your thoughts are when it comes to being soft on that. Yeah.
Okay, being soft also starts with you as a parent. Have they seen you with those extreme dress codes? Because I am not saying we expose our thighs, especially for the girls. You can sit them down and say, and talk about when you expose your thighs, what are you telling the world? Where, you can give an example of gold. Where when you want to find gold or something precious, do you just find it anywhere? I'm not saying we expose ourselves, but you can be fancy and decent at the same time. I'm not saying about the hot pants. Those are a bit much, but I'm saying just being soft, because sometimes if we don't buy those clothes, I keep saying, especially for campus girls, someone will buy them. If you don't buy the ripped jeans, if you don't buy the baggy shirts, someone will buy them somewhere. So I'm just saying, if it's going to church, tell them these clothes are going to church, are clothes for going to church. If you're going to malling, these are clothes for going malling. If you're going for swimming, they can wear a short. These are clothes for going malling. If you're going for swimming, they can wear a short. But you don't wear a short to church. Again, it is this engagement. There's some noise.
Edna.
Okay.
Edna, kindly mute.
Yes. Thank you. So we are saying, take time, the power of presence of the mother. Take time to guide them that these are clothes for church, these are clothes for swimming. And then when you have all that variety, they'll be able to pick from your guidance. Because I don't expect a girl to come to church in shorts. But if you're going for swimming or you're going somewhere, they can wear some decent shorts and still feel fashionable.
Can you try to mute him?
Muted.
Thank you, Edna. Edna? Okay, I leave it open now. So, did I answer you?
Yes, to some extent, yes.
Okay, but also let's also create platforms of this. I think the universities and all institutions don't talk about the dress code. I think people who have tried to do the dress code is Strathmore. I think it's just about dialogue, that when you're in school, you dress like this. When you're at home, when you're sleeping, they are clothes for all seasons. A lot of guidance is not given to our children. So we misjudge when they want a pair of shorts, but we can have those discussions with our girls. Intentional parenting. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so any other person with a comment, question, clarification?
Edna, maybe I could just make a comment.
Okay.
My name is Agnes Mweni. I am a friend of Emma, so I am a visitor. I'm not from St. Paul's, but I'm glad to be here. Emma, thank you for enlightening us. That is very, very informative. And I think as parents, one of the things that we miss a lot are forums like this. And so St. Paul's, well done for putting us together tonight. Probably I could also speak from a point of experience, just to support or allude to what Emma is saying, that when you allow them and you guide, it's interesting as they grow older, they actually make some of those, would I say, choices to just correct it for themselves. And mine is a practical example. When our son finished fourth form from Kabarak, he obviously decided to put dreadlocks. And I remember he had such a fight with his father, and the dad kept asking him, now, if you look like this, who will actually accept you to in a formal employment and all those kind of things? And it's interesting how the younger son kept saying, but dad, what's my hair got to do with my brain or what I'm doing? And I mean, that conversation deepened. Of course, it might sound like it was like an argument, but it's interesting. At some point, the father said, okay, let's then wait and see. Of course, they had a deeper conversation. But several years later, let me say 2 or 3 years later, he actually came out and said, and now I've enjoyed this hair and I'm actually done. And because I'm about to go into internship, now it's about for me to cut it off. The other day, I found him telling his younger brother, let me tell you, you'll grow your hair and you'll get tired just like me. So it's true. When you guide them, at some point, they will actually be able to get back. And I won't believe that is just part of growth as well, like what Emma is saying. So it's really very true. Making them your closest friend and guiding them along the path and making them understand why this and the impact and the repercussions. So I totally believe that, yes, when you're with correct guidance, they do basically go back to the perfect path or into the correct path. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Agnes, for those insights. And I'll talk a little about my daughter just for just a second. Yes, my daughter is 19 and my son is 14. So I'm right in that journey of teenage parenting. And I remember when my daughter joined campus, she had a lot of psyche and energy of going out. I know some of us know what is going out there. So I told her, as long as I know who you're going out with, I will allow you to. Do you know right now the frequency has slowed down because we had a discussion. Where is this you're going? Who are you with? But the moment you lock them, because you see in campus now are the teens, these are the tail end of the teenage years. They're out of school. They are still 18, 19 there. and they're feeling now they have a lot of freedom. You can manage that freedom by trusting, saying that I trust you that you go for this party, wherever it is. And of course, make sure you know these friends that she's talking about. And most of them, I would say, they are children you are with in Kianda. And you talk as parents and you ask, so where are they going? Where are they coming? It is a face. And I'm sure out of all of us who are here, we did those things of going out in the night and you say, this is what happens. You're not even anymore interested. That guidance and walking actually helps. They themselves will come and say, I don't even want to go for these things. So that little freedom and balancing, it's a hard one, it's a tough one, but it actually bears fruit. Thank you. I put it back to the audience.
Any other person who would like to share experience, ask a question, concern?
Yes, I would like to ask a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, go on, Imelda.
Yes, Imelda.
Thank you very much. I'm called Imelda and I'm excited. And Emma, thank you very much. That is a powerful information to parents. I just wanted to ask this issue of technology and phones and internet, because I think during the COVID period, we kind of had to, of course, install internet and be able to have gadgets. But then from my experience, I've seen is it addiction? You know, a child is glued on it to a point that even academics are affected. I don't know when is the appropriate time to really allow children to have a phone. I think my question is around technology and parenting. Thank you. I hope you heard me.
Yes, Imelda, I've heard you loud and clear. Yes,
Thank you.
technology is a big thing. And I must say it is also affecting us as parents. We're also addicted to the phone. Your teenager is talking to you and you're scrolling on the phone. You're driving, you're on the phone. So I think it also starts with us. We are the role models of our children. And I think we can have some rules. I was attending a parenting course at Kianda, one that is offered by Strathmore. And there's somebody who talked about technology because it's a big thing. And they said, well, there were different views about when you should give your child a phone and when not to. But that I can leave it for another day, assuming our teenagers maybe get a phone at maybe when they're 12, 13 there. I think it's important for them to be introduced to these phones early enough, and you have measures. You have control time. You have areas that you can say at home. For example, the dining area, this is a gadget-free zone. You can zone your home and say no phones. Again, this calls for intentional parenting, whereby if you're saying that you pick that phone during the week, surely please pick the phone and give them over the weekend. I know there are some schools that allow phones, so this can be a really big debate. But assuming maybe there is this other system, 844, where phones are not allowed in school, you can have that agreement that you only get your phone on the weekends and for a certain time. But also for us, even phone etiquette, let's also look at how we're also behaving at home with our phones. Because even we parents, sometimes you're so addicted to WhatsApp, you're checking Facebook, Instagram in the evening, and you miss out that engagement period. But for me, I would say, if you don't buy that phone, they will be on Instagram, they will be on Facebook, and they don't have a phone. These children are smart. So you'd rather have the gadget, have ways of checking where they are techie people here. I know Paul Peter can attest to that there's a way you can check where they are going, the sites they are going to. But if you say you won't give the phone, believe me, they will be on Instagram, they will be on Facebook and all these other Snapchats without a phone. Why? Because we have neighbors. We live in estates. We have a neighbor there. They have your phone. When you doze at home or when you're just around home, they will pick your phone and enter Instagram and do whatever they are doing and go away. So let's just be intentional and let them have that phone, but in a controlled way. More work to us, but it helps, especially those early teens, 12, 13, 14, 15, thereabout. It is very critical to tell them even the effects of too much screen time. Again, conversations around the effects of this. And also we ourselves, are we able to keep the phone away? Because if you're always on the phone, at home especially, you're eating at the dining, you're on the phone. You're in bed, you're on the phone. You're talking to them, you're on the phone. What are we also communicating to them? Thank you. Imelda, I hope.
Any other?
Very clear. Thank you very much.
All right.
Yeah, maybe the last question, comments, experience sharing. Yes, Agnes, kindly just unmute yourself.
But no, I was just saying, I think there's one that has been asked on the chat. Somebody's asking, how about the quiet ones who are not able to express themselves? I thought maybe Emma can try and tackle that. And there's somebody else who's asking whether we are able to share the slides later for reference.
Okay. Thank you, Agnes. I had not checked the chat box. Thank you for those who are sending. You can still send. And Edna, you can pick that and we can answer. Yes, the quiet children. I know there are children who are they become introverts. You can find a child who was younger, they were very outgoing, but when they become teenage, they are very, very quiet. Again, let's try and find out what is happening into their world. Find out what they like. For example, I remember I was sharing with a parent once, and she was complaining how the children like the malls. Oh, my children love the malls and I don't like the malls. Just find out from this quiet one, what do you like to do, or what would you like us to do together? If they tell you they want to go to the walk in the mall, please go walk in that mall with them. And as you're walking, you may break that ice. I'm giving an example of that because this was an experience with a parent, and they were saying, she was talking about the way she doesn't like going to the malls, but her children like. I said, just one day, one afternoon, just say we are walking around the malls and see whatever they want to do. Something else you can ask them, what is happening? What is happening to you in school? Or why are you so quiet? I miss the days we used to talk and play together. What can we do together? Can we cook if it's a girl? If it's a boy, can we wash the car together? Just little ways of trying to see how you can break this barrier. Sometimes they just need that one talk or one word that will feel that, oh, my parents are seeing that I'm quiet. They're reaching out to me. Sometimes it's that reach out, because even we as grown-ups, sometimes you zone out. Maybe you had a friend who was always calling you and they've zoned out. They just want that phone call. Edna, how have you been? I've not seen you for so long. So it's just that tactical way of finding out what is exactly happening. How was school? What's happening in school? Yes. It's a journey, just trying to open up the dialogue and also because you've been the parent, you can actually see this child where they were before they were a teenager. Were they more talkative, or is this how they are? Then in between, you will know there's a change. And when you say, I miss the days we would play together, they will see you're actually observing. Thank you. Somebody else can add to that. I believe we have those quiet ones. And let's not, if they are quiet and they are noisy ones, let's treat the quiet the way they are. And let's not compare to say, why are you quiet? Why aren't you talkative like your brother? That comparison also makes them sink deeper into whatever frustration or anxiety they have. Thank you. The person who asked maybe can, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I hope you've been responded to. Maybe you can put it on the chat, or if you have a follow-up question, you can also put it up there. Emma, seems like no one else has a question. The only one that is here is about the slides, and I think maybe Ben, as he passes the vote of thanks, he'll be able to mention that, because I know you had already indicated that you can share the slides, but we have people from various places, and not everyone here is from St. Paul's. Yeah, so from myself, it was very powerful. I've learned, and my key takeaway is mindset change. Yeah, as a parent, and I think it's not that easy. So it's something that maybe God will need to intervene to be able to, just adopt the way uh, they reason, and be able to support that and be patient enough to listen to them. Yeah, so thank you,